Do I have everybody's attention now?
This is it, Josh! This is it!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Point. We are here after like a week-long hiatus because I had COVID, so that's our excuse for not having COVID. I was dying. I was so sick. I was watching NXT UK.
Oh boy!
If you watch NXT UK, you know you're getting sick. So, what's up, guys?
hey, it's been a while. Honestly, I don't remember last time we had an episode. Was it day one?
No.
It might.
It was day. I think it was our instant reaction day one.
Wow,
it's been so long.
That's 15 days ago.
I'm in a new house. I moved.
Literally moved. I got a haircut. Look at this. Too much have changed.
We're all changed men here.
Mm-hmm.
But so we are. We've been watching wrestling. I feel like I've watched wrestling a lot in the past.
I have too. I've watched a lot more than a lot more frequently than I normally do.
So we are going to. I'll bring out the banner. We don't have many banners today, but we have
a lot to talk about. If that makes
wrestling
sense.
hot takes. Me and Dom disputed over one particular match.
We get a WrestlePoint first, an argument that I'm not involved in.
So I'll start off with Eric's hot take because I know he's wanting to get this off of show.
Yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. So my hot take is kind of a 2-in-1, but it really it goes back to really honestly since AEW started. But my hot take is that not only is Adam Page the worst champion, not AEW champion, the worst champion in AEW history. But it should have been Bryan Danielson that won the belt.
That is nuclear. Hot take. You have the banner. Where's the banner?
Hey, I got
the Roman.
Nice. He's saying, okay, world champion. I'm like, okay, and AEW history. Jesus Christ.
Actually, you know, he might not be worse than like Riho, but I think he's
Sammy Guevara.
I think Page is a very bad champion. I don't think he's ever in his AEW run been presented as championship material. I've never gotten him as a main eventer, and I don't get him at all as champion. You know, his first opponent was Bryan Danielson, who not only out-wrestled him in both matches, but every time they had a segment, Bryan Danielson, I felt it came out looking better. I think they've completely mismanaged him, and I don't buy him at all with the belt. He doesn't feel important, and the belt doesn't feel important with him.
Okay, interesting.
So I know Dom's going to disagree because he's an AEW show, but I've had the same. I don't know, like, because I haven't watched AEW from the start, so I can't say if he's the worst champion in AEW history because I haven't watched. But I do not believe him. I don't buy him as a credible champion. I don't buy that he could beat Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson on any given day.
And I think that the fact that you haven't been there since the start of AEW, I think that's kind of a little more telling because so here's what my opinion has been, and I said this in the chat. I'll repeat it now with a little, and I'll expand on it a little more. Is and this is so this is not an insult to AEW. This is actually a great thing about AEW. It's really, really awesome. Is their fans? They have a very devoted cult fan base that will they want to love everything they do, and from day one it's been really obvious that like Adam Page was like the guy that they were their babyface they were going to push. So I think a lot of the not sympathy, a lot of the support he's gotten is just from the AEW super faithful. That's like, oh, this is their guy. I'll cheer for this guy. But other than that, at the very beginning, they gave him some momentum. But it feels like before he got the belt, he like any big match he had, he lost. He lost to Pac, he lost to Jericho. He ended up getting his win back against Pac, but then they immediately put him in a tag team. And then Kenny Omega came out of the tag team looking better. He becomes the sad drunk. He starts hanging out with job guys. The Dark Order, like you can like the Dark Order. You can think they're funny, but you can't deny that they're an undercard comedy act where he was literally riding them around on his riding mower, taking them for ice cream. And you're telling me that 6 months later, that's going to be your champion, riding job guys around on his lawnmower, to get ice
Can I
cream. It
dispute
makes no
something
sense.
now?
Yes, you can. You can.
Okay,
You can.
because this is from my side. I think from Cody's perspective, it makes sense. I wanna I wanna first clarify the whole thing of seeing him as a credible champion. I think that's a different perspective as fans. Some people might see this guy as a future world champion, some don't. For me, Adam Cole, I don't see him as a future world champion, and I feel like some of you might disagree. Just for me,
At the moment, at the moment, I'd actually agree with that.
I mean, just in
We know
general,
he will. We know he will be one day, but I don't.
yeah, but like for me, that's like if for you guys, Hangman, that's for me Adam Cole. Maybe because I
It's
wasn't
funny that you must say that because, like right now,
booking Adam.
Adam Cole is like I hated his booking at first, but Adam Cole is still like his storyline with like the Young Bucks and all that is the most entertaining thing in AEW for me. Like it's the only thing that like I really like.
I mean,
I need to see this week.
I'm not going off of his booking necessarily. I just go off of his general presentation. You know what I mean? Like there's just guys that you see and you're like, oh, this is a future world champion. Like even as much as I love Hook, it's gonna take a lot for convincing that he's gonna have the world champion at some point. Like mid card champion, but and where Cody's coming from, and Eric, it's funny to mention with the AW. I mean, they started building his story for his world championship run since day one with the Chris Jericho law, then with the tag team stuff, and then he was kind of, I wouldn't say kicked out, but he was disowned by the elite, and that made him. Don't roll the eyes. That's what I'm just saying. That's what the story is, right? And then that's why he became a sad drunk, and then that's why Brody Lee with the Dark Order. That's when they started turning, I would say, a little bit face. There were tweeners, especially with Brody Lee and the end one. They became more of less like a angry Colt who starts attacking people, and more of like a we're family. Even though we might,
I think they Dark Order kind of. I think they. I don't even remember them necessarily being tweeners. I think they sharply turned face after Brody Lee passed.
I'm saying when Brody Lee was, because that Brody Lee and Hangman teased Brody Lee wanting to join Hangman to join him when he was still there, alive. Then they turned face right, when he passed away, which I understand.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't not.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, we hate everyone.
Yeah, you can't.
So that's a logical decision. And then even then, Hangman was very hesitant. Then we had over the summer, we had that whole, I don't need your help, and then they had a little conflict there. I feel like the story of Hangman is like him being disowned by the elites, and then he needed the family to find, and even though he didn't want it, Brody knew he needed it, and then that's why they were so persistent on when Brody Lee passed that they wanted him to be his family, and then it happened, and then he got the world champion from the guy who disowned him, his former tag team partner. I think the story is good, but then again, everybody has different takes on what they like. I think
it's just like the thing that really goes against Adam Page for me is we can arguably say he is wrestled the two best wrestlers and probably
he can't take it away from him.
All of AEW. I don't think this is my personal. I don't think Adam Page is on Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson.
I'm not saying he is.
That's probably why I just like his promo wise, his
I think we can go back and forth on this all day because we clearly are contrarian to each other. But I kind of want to bring up my second. Before
I just want to go ahead with the thing. I agree with Cody. You can't really knock him. Like you can't say, "Oh, how dare you have a good match?" It's only good because of the guys in there. Like, over Dynamite, Lance Arch is probably going to be feuding with him. I think once we see what happens there, then we can.
That's a big step for him because Lance Arch is not on that level of.
Yeah, nothing. Lance Arch is great, but he's not.
Yeah, that's not. But like you're.
Yeah, exactly.
Two of the top 5 wrestlers in the world.
So I feel like we're gonna see a accurate picture of what he can bring as a main champion against somebody like Lance Archer.
I kind of want to bring up what the first part, or no, the second part of my hot take was, which was that I think 100% Bryan Danielson should have been the one to take the title off of Kenny. That has nothing. The reason I kind of said it's 2 for 1 is because that part doesn't have really anything to do with Adam Page. Like, you guys know my thoughts on how flawed their year and a half long story was between Page and Omega. But I think from the second Bryan Danielson's come in, like the only person that has been getting cheered more than him is Punk, and that's just and Punk's always going to be the most cheered. So, but like
maybe Britt.
Hmm?
Britt may.
I don't know.
Pops.
I think Britt has been really
Maybe.
like struggling with. I think that's why they're putting her with Adam Cole now because I
Yeah,
don't
she
think
has
she's
given
getting
a
as
little
much
Yeah,
love as she.
Britt's been boring me, but that's not her fault. She's got nobody to work with. But you know, but ever since Danielson's come into the company, he's been like the crowd's been completely like behind him more than they've ever been behind Page. Page is over. I'm not going to say he's not, but like Bryan Danielson's super over, and he's the best technical wrestler in the company, if not the entire world. So and you want to make the title, like no matter who's holding the title, you want it to be the most important it can be. It's more. I think it looks more important when it's on Bryan Danielson, and I think if Bryan Danielson, if your end game is get the belt on Adam Page, I think fuck this story because you fuck that story with Kenny Omega because you told it so fucking badly. But get the title on Bryan Danielson. And then I think the title means more with Bryan Danielson than Kenny Omega. That's just me personally. But then you can actually build Adam Page up through the upper mid card instead of having him come back from paternity leave and then just win the belt. And then I think if you can build him up through the upper mid card and then have him be the one to beat Bryan Danielson for the first time for the title and not actually he's the first guy to beat Bryan Danielson to retain the title, but that win I think becomes even more impressive and just smashes him over. If you actually take some more time to consistently build him through the upper mid card and then have him win the title by being the first person to pin Bryan Danielson. But that's just my opinion.
My issue with it so I didn't like the timed match where obviously I said that. But when you have the judges and Bryan Danielson is kicking his ass for 95% of the match and then Adam Page pulls off his finisher and wins, it's not a good look for your champion. It's just not.
No, I agree with you. I like that you bring up that point. You cannot Adam on that. Some people like watching wrestling differently. I enjoy watching long storylines a lot. Naito's storyline took 7 years to complete, and oh my god, when it happened, the storyline completed. Yeah, after that, kind of going downhill. You couldn't really help it. The pandemic happened right then. You can't really predict that. But I like that stuff. I think Danielson will be champion at some point. I think that's pretty written.
He will. He will be. I just wanted to make one last point to go back to how they've been presenting Adam Page. Is you guys know how when they're like a lot of time, like when they're entering and they get the lower third that says their name, their record, and at the top it'll say has won through the last 5 matches. There have been multiple of those those customized messages that for Adam Page that have been like this. Like one of them literally said, "I don't know, say something funny like saddle up." And then when they came out for the second match with Danielson, since it was on January 5th, was it or something, January 4th? It said it said for their world champion hasn't won yet this year. Because they wanted it's only been 5 days, but our champion hasn't been that's not how you present your champion.
I agree. That's kind of
you don't make stupid jokes.
I didn't notice it. If I'm being honest,
I didn't either, but it's kind of it's more cringe, honestly.
Yeah, but that's I guess that's my hot take.
Yeah, but with the story, I think the story went fine. You know,
he's only had one feud since he won. He's only had it for a month. There's I'm not saying he's doomed to have a terrible reign. I just think I think they kind of did it backwards where he won the belt and now they're building him, whereas you build him and then you're supposed to build him then give him the belt.
I think but the thing about it is I think it was the whole story.
What happened? Sorry, my audio changed.
I think it was the story was
cut out again.
Hello. The story was more about beating Kenny and righting the wrongs of
the story was flawed. The story was nothing.
I disagree.
It's very. I get you both your point. It was very overhyped. I'll tell you that.
It was overhyped. I agree, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
This is what I'll explain. If you guys ever heard somebody talk about the TV show Friends, It's
I
the
don't
Friends
watch any
version.
of it.
Friends is like the most overhyped show in the history of the world. So it's basically that. So let's move on to the next one because we all
Yeah.
Dom, do you have anything before we get into mine?
The story might have been overhyped. I agree, but it doesn't mean it was bad.
Oh no, not about that. Like a hot take.
Oh, a hot take. SmackDown's bad now. I don't know if that's a hot take. And Rampage, I told the guys, I was watching Rampage. I'm like, wow, I'd rather watch that twice than watch SmackDown once.
It's hard.
Rampage
It's
is
hard.
good.
It's pretty hard to disagree. Like what on SmackDown other than like Roman Reigns is even like watchable right now?
Sami Zayn stuff is okay, but like I agree. Like I want to watch some wrestling sometimes. You know what I mean? And the Sheamus Ricochet match was okay. It wasn't. It was good, but like you gotta. That's the thing about it. Like, when has the world champion for SmackDown wrestled this year?
See, I mean, actually, that'll be a completely separate. We can have a completely separate conversation about that because I kind of prefer when the champion doesn't wrestle like a ton.
Interesting.
But yeah, but that can be a completely separate conversation.
For me, I want to just get into it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When it doesn't wrestle, I don't want to see him on TV. If that makes sense, because like, why are you here? Like you're just overseeing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think you're untouchable.
Yeah, I won't. I won't even touch this conversation yet because I have like. My opinion's like very layered on this, so we don't need to get into it.
I get that.
I see. I love the Sami Zayn stuff. I'm a sucker for it. I'm the sucker for Sami Zayn.
It's great.
I love the Shield stuff just because like the Shield's my favorite faction of all time. But I understand your point where if Roman's not on the show, not to wrestle, I don't. But at the same time, if you don't have Roman on your show, you're basically main event.
Exactly.
Main event at that point.
That's why that's the only one of the few flaws I can see in it. You know what I mean? Like, why can't he just be like, I'm the tribal chief. I need to remind these people. Let me just speed up this dude. And he could have like something like he had with Montez Ford. That was great. I want to see more of that stuff. I
actually saw him because he's like 5 days ago was his 500th day as Universal Champion, and I saw the stat that on his 500th day he had 17 defenses. So based on that he was defending the title I did the math every like 29 and a half days.
But it's pay-per-views mostly.
Yes.
So.
I think he's defended the title 3 times on SmackDown. I know Daniel Bryan he fought on SmackDown. Rey Mysterio fought on SmackDown, and there might be someone else. But other than that,
this can be a separate conversation because I could talk for a while about why.
I will say the only other thing that interests me on SmackDown, I feel like Charlotte is doing really good with nothing. She has nothing going on, and she's still. And I love the match with Naomi last week.
Yeah,
and Naomi stuff is good. They're having another match this week coming up, so that'll be nice. Lita, I was very interested in, but I don't consider that like SmackDown just because like it's a one-off. Like. They do it just so you can watch, It
has
been bad. Raw has been so much better. I feel like.
Yeah, it feels like SmackDown is like building storylines without wrestling, and sometimes I kind of just want to watch some wrestling. And that's why I mentioned like.
Yeah, like what the fuck is the second W in your fucking company's title?
Yeah, exactly. It feels more like just entertainment, and I'm like, I have to wait another hour for Rampage, and I'm gonna go again with Rampage. With Rampage, they told progressed storylines with matches, and a particular match happened that did that on Wednesday, and we'll talk about that soon because I know Cody and I are gonna have a bar match about that.
I have it as one of my. Okay, I'm gonna go to my hot take before we get into that match because we have to talk about it. But I'm going. I don't know if any of you would. AEW is announcing up their pillars.
Yep, I can see that.
Wait. Can you remind me? I legit. So it was MJF, Jungle Boy, Sammy, and.
No, I considering me, I consider it Darby Allin, MJF, Britt Baker, and Jungle Boy.
Okay.
But
they're. I agree. They're fucking up their pillars.
Okay, I kind of agree.
Not all of them. I don't think all of them.
I think the reason this is happening is because like they have too many pillars, not enough walls, if that makes sense. Because now Daniel Garcia, when they began, they began with those 4 guys in mind. It seemed like they started build those up, and now they have say what you want about Hook, but he's now getting that, and I feel like
But I think what they said. I think when they
Martin.
said. And I get what you're saying, but I think you're kind of confusing. I think when they say like when MJF cut the promo pillars, I think they were saying like people that have been there from day one, not necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Not necessarily like young guys.
No. I'm not saying the pillar. I'm saying maybe the reason some of these pillars might not get pushed like they're supposed to
because they got too many other people to feature.
No, especially young guys, and you
Mhm.
gotta push those too, because it's very important to invest in your young talent and build those up. That's what
Agreed.
WWE has done for years, not as much lately, unfortunately. But especially in the ruthless aggression era, you can talk about John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, great still like building up, and same with Edge, and they were mega stars in their era. And I feel like that's not something WWE is doing, and AEW is trying to do that, but they have maybe too many cooks, and somebody's gonna get left behind.
Okay, so just let me explain this real quick. So I'm gonna go through each one. Jungle Boy, I don't have much as a problem as it because he's in the tag team. He probably shouldn't be in the tag team.
That's exactly
Probably should
He's
be
a great tag team wrestler, though.
He is, but he has the talent to be a single star.
And that's where he'll thrive. But
I mean, yeah, he'll eventually.
But keep going.
My big first, I think the huge one is Darby Allin. Darby Allin has taken a fall from grace since that CM Punk fight. It's not CM. I'm not saying it's CM Punk's fault, obviously not. But like ever since, I feel like the story's more been about Sting than Darby Allin, and it shouldn't be. Like Sting is in all these matches now. Like let Darby do a Darby. Like that's where Darby was best, and now it feels like the limelight's on Sting more than it is Darby, and that's not how it should be because Sting is there to basically make sure that Darby's a star. And it just doesn't feel like that right now.
I can see that, yeah.
Britt Baker. Britt Baker is the coldest she's probably ever been in her AEW career at this point.
And that's very much well, she was very actually you didn't see her at the very beginning.
In the beginning she was very cold.
But she is definitely this is the coldest she's been in a long time. But I think we'd all agree it's not her fault. They're giving her nobody to work with. She's got nobody.
They want to leave Thunder Rosa. Give
her Thunder Rosa. She's like Britt Baker's held for like 250 days at this point. Fucking give her Thunder Rosa. Who cares?
She has to go through Martinez now, Thunder Rosa. So we're gonna have to wait a little longer.
Yeah, but like, there's so many free agents. So I'm holding out hope that like maybe Ember Moon gets signed there or somebody that can actually work.
Or Frankie Moon or Taya Valkyrie, as she will be known.
Or I'd also like to see Serena Deeb.
You know what's going to annoy me? Will annoy me. So I think right now, I'm not saying this will happen, but I think if we all had to guess who will take the title off Britt Baker, it's gonna be Thunder Rosa, right?
Yeah.
What's going to happen is they're going to wait a lot longer for the match, and then this is going to be another, oh my God, look at this 2-year story they told with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, because they had one match 2 years ago and then stayed apart for 2 years, and then we brought
if you're memeing on the Hangman stuff, I disagree.
I totally am. That's exactly I totally am.
Britt Baker is that's why they're putting her with her boyfriend right now, because
she needs some sort it's unfortunate, but she does need some sort of rub.
But it's also like, but she's in the story with her boyfriend, but she's facing a girl that she's already beaten for the So like
and a girl that injured her, by the way. I doubt Britt Baker's super enthused to be working with Chris Statlander.
Oh yeah, didn't she break her hand or something?
No, she's like tore her ACL. She did the Death Valley driver to Nyla Rose onto Britt Baker, but completely fucking missed the spot.
That hurts. So last person is MJF. I wouldn't say MJF is losing a ton of steam, but
he's not.
Feels like a little.
But he's not gaining. He's not losing.
He's
much.
Not gaining anything.
Gaining much. I mean, we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do with I
can only imagine he should.
He has to be. Like,
I don't think he will. Even
if they end up having 2 matches where MJF wins the first and then Punk gets the win back, I'm fine with that. But he has to. No, after I'm not gonna lie. After the Wardlow Punk match, I kind of think Punk's gonna beat MJF, and I think MJF's gonna get mad at Wardlow, and that's going to lead into the Wardlow full-on face turn against MJF. So
I feel like
Wardlow's
MJF
gonna
has a
win
little
that
too much
feud.
going on right now. In
Wardlow's
this
gonna
one
win that.
story.
Wardlow's gonna win that MJF feud. And
he will.
and
Yeah.
he should-
Well,
and he should.
yeah. No, we're talking about
Okay.
CM Punk and MJF.
I know, but I don't know. I disagree. I think MJF has enough steam. I mean, he won two. He lost at Chris Jericho feud. Thank God we got off that, right? But then, I kind of enjoyed that 1 month Brian Pillman thing, and then the Darby stuff. He got over and he had
Darby
a
stuff
fantastic match. I mean,
I'm
and
just
then-
saying, like, I feel like he has a lot to handle, like the stuff with Wardlow, stuff with CM Punk. It feels like, it feels kind of too much, and I'm probably looking in the future of this because I really don't think MJ is going to beat CM Punk, which he should.
I feel like people are just disappointed MJF isn't just champion right now. I think that's what it is.
I think he's. I think he's.
They're like, why is he not champion right now?
You know how much more prestigious the TNT title would be if MJF had it?
He's gonna get it eventually.
I don't think so. I think he's just.
Yes, he will.
I think his first title needs to be the world title.
It's going to be the world title,
Yeah.
and I think it might happen this year.
Maybe.
Honestly.
But you just said
Maybe.
he's going to be TNT champion.
No, I didn't be
Yeah.
champion.
You
I
did,
didn't
but
say
you did, but I don't think I think you meant world champion.
Okay,
No,
yes,
yeah,
I did.
because I said
Cody said the TNT championship would be more prestigious with MJF, and you said he will win it one day.
I thought he was talking about just
Yeah,
champion. We already talked
Alright.
about the AW championship not being prestigious with Hangman. So,
All right, so now that we got the hot takes out of the way,
oh boy,
Okay.
who wants to go first?
I mean, I can go first because I'm the one that has a real problem with it. You're the one that defends and likes it. So first off, I'll say that obviously when I said this in the chat, I knew Dom was going to get a reaction of it because he doesn't hate anything that CM Punk ever does. And this isn't CM
I didn't like
Punk's
the kicks
fault.
and stuff, and a lot
I'm
of people
not
love
saying it's CM Punk's fault. So he had Wardlow come out. The first thing they say about Wardlow, he has won 18 matches in a row. 18 matches in a row.
dark
And
matches.
most of them were squash. Is this correct? Most of them.
I think that all of them were probably.
Yeah,
This motherfucker hits 8 power bombs, and CM Punk is like he's a 20-year-old fucking Brock Lesnar, and just is like keeps coming back. Like CM Punk's old. CM Punk barely beat. I don't even know what the guy's name is. The guy that's on Dark every week.
Lee Moriarty.
Yeah, he's on Dark every week, and CM Punk
not
almost
every
won.
week.
And now Wardlow was giving him 8 power bombs.
One through a table. Don't forget one through a table.
One through a table. The table, you know what would have been better? The table on fire. He throws him through the table, and Dom's like, "Oh, fire doesn't hurt that much." And then CM Punk. I don't know how CM Punk has the strength after 8 power bombs to get Wardlow off his feet to roll him up for the 1, 2, 3. But I just thought it was kind of unnecessary and kind of stupid.
Okay, let me go now. First
Alright.
of all, CM Punk is a huge fan of Bret Hart, and he mentioned this on his social media that this is an homage to Bret Hart because they did the exact same spot, the exact same story match with Kevin Nash in the 90s. I don't know what year, but so exact same spot. And I mentioned this a lot of times with finishers, and I still stand to it. Finishers maybe in the back of the day were meant to finish people, right? Now with the whole wrestling, the different evolution of wrestling, some of the finishers are not gonna be as weighted as others. You know, Rainmaker is a big example. Okada has like 20 of them, it seems like, just to get one guy gone. And then you have somebody like Kenny Omega, he gets it once. Days Gone, I think it's called Days Gone by Baron Corbin. No one has ever kicked
End of
out
days.
of that.
End of days.
End of
No
okay, my
one's
bad.
ever- no one's
No
ever
one's
kicked
kicked
out
out of it, you know? And then you have something like Wardlow. You might say, oh, his power bomb might be his finisher. I kind of disagree with that. It's not a Batista power bomb. It's a continuation of power bomb. Same with the Three Amigos. Three Amigos, Eddie Guerrero, one of his moves. I don't know if you consider his finisher. I would say just one finisher, just a continuation. His Three Amigos is like 3 suplexes, right?
That's a signature.
That's a
but it's like the move is 3.
Exactly. I think for Wardlow, how I see it, it's multiple power bombs, right? And then again, he was protected with the distraction, right? And then he got the from MJF. That kind of just I like that because it furthers the story. The MJF Wardlow tension has been going on for a long time and it's been building. And Wardlow is over. Fans like him. He's a likable guy, you know. He is a quintessential young Batista. I don't know if you like the comparison or not, but I think
he's a better worker than Batista. Young Batista, I think.
Yeah. So I think I have no problem with it. CM Punk pays a homage to Bret Hart. It continues a story with Wardlow, CM Punk, and Wardlow. I mean, not Wardlow, CM Punk and MJF within Wardlow and MJF. I can see the gripes of like he finishes a bit too much, but like. Then again, it's pro wrestling. You see how many times like suplex cities happen and like somebody gets up from it because the super scene. We can complain too much. We grew up in the era of Super Cena. Super Cena. This man will go.
How old was John Cena when he was Super Cena? Was he 43?
No, because I think he's.
That's what I'm saying. Is this was young Cena?
Then again, pro wrestling, it's not like sports. It's not like we don't pay attention too much to the age. I mean, we have Great Muda still being world champion and nobody complains. I think it's a bit different.
But I'll tell you
Same with Edge. Like no one complains about Edge is old. Why is he in the main card? You know what I mean? Like no.
You say it's not sport, which I agree. It's technically sports, but not like really because it's scripted. But sports, you're like. If something happens crazy, you're like, oh, well, it's not supposed to make sense because it's happening in the moment. Wrestling is also always supposed to make sense. And then we shit on companies when it doesn't make sense. Like half of WWE shit, half of AEW shit. So this does not make sense that CM Punk, who can barely be a guy that's on Dark, is kicking out one of probably the guy that
didn't kick out, no.
Okay.
He never kicked out. He never got pinned. He got rolled up by a distraction.
But he wasn't carried out on a stretcher, and he was able to roll up Wardlow, who is huge, and win. I just don't understand.
He was limping slowly because he was.
All right, so before I give my 2 cents, I just want to say I'm gonna forever relish in Cody saying wrestling's supposed to always make sense because that's what I've been saying for so long. But,
boy.
So as I'm in the rare moment where I find myself as the voice of reason, I told you guys the day of, and I still to this very moment see both sides. Like, okay, so I wanted to say for Dom, when you say that you consider Wardlow's finisher like multiple power bombs, that's totally fair because he has done multiple on everybody. But based on how the announcers are calling it, I think it's been made very clear that his finisher is one power bomb. But he just does it. But he just does it a lot.
That's not an analysis then. Because it's not presented like that. And announcers always Cody's smiling. I don't care. We have seen multiple like examples of the not correlating with what is presented on screen. As it is presented by Wardlow, his finishes, multiple finishes, because he never does it with one.
But yeah, either way, that's what I'm saying. Like you have a fair point because he does use multiple, but I think at the same time, I think it just seems I dare I say common sense that it's one. He just does it a lot of times because he's a brute. But anyway, neither here nor there. I kind of like I completely agree with what Dom's saying about the story aspect. I really like if I had just seen if I had only seen the finish, like if I had only seen where Wardlow's about to pick him up and then gets distracted by MJF and then gets rolled up, I think I would have really liked that. Like I really like in a vacuum, I love the finish because Wardlow doesn't lose momentum by being rolled up here, like at all. And it does too. And it does continue the story of MJF and Wardlow, the tension. So the story aspect was really good. However, I agree with Cody that I get what they were going for, but I think they really overdid it with it being 8 power bombs. Like
I
that
agree
is
with
a
that.
little yeah. So like that is just a little like and I understood. So to go back to your point, Dom, that the Rainmaker, sometimes he does like 20, and
There's a lot.
but no one kicks out of End of Days. No one kicks out of the One Winged Angel. I also have to think about what type of move that is. The Rainmaker is a ripcord clothesline. It's not very
clothesline.
but it's not very impactful. So like I think it stands to reason that just one ripcord clothesline might not keep a guy down. But whereas you look at the One Winged Angel and it's a driver from pretty much on top of Kenny's head. That's super impactful. End of Days, you're swinging somebody from parallel all the way back to their face. That's super impactful. A power bomb again, I think you can make the argument that everybody uses power bombs as not their finisher. So I get that, but at the same time, like 8, it's a lot. It's a lot for a super impactful move from a huge guy. Like I don't like. So I do. So again, I see both sides. I agree with Dom about the story, and I agree with Cody that 8 was just, especially the way they've been presenting Punk. They've been doing a really good job of getting Punk the wins, but telling the story that he's been out of the ring for 7 years, and he's still kind of getting the rust off. They've been doing a really good job of telling that story, and it just seems like, okay, so the one time he gets in there with a big muscly fucking alpha male is the one time he's
second time because he was there with Hobbs.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about
Hobbs, the guy that loses every single match.
But regardless. But it seems like this monster is going to be the guy that he withstands. Which again, he didn't kick out of any of the power bombs, and that's a very important thing to note here. If he kicked out of those power bombs more, then that
would have been very different. I agree.
But the story of the match was, you're left believing, if not for MJF, Wardlow would have 100% won that match.
And that's what they wanted to tell.
So from a story perspective, it all made sense, just the story in a vacuum. But if you look at just the match in a vacuum, it's like, wow, that kind of it was gratuitous. It didn't need to be 8. So I see both sides. You're both right. You're both right here.
I can say I agree with the point. It probably should have been less than 8. I think 5 would have been fine, but I think they wanted to hammer it home like so many power bombs. So
I would say 4 or less.
I think
after 5 it gets
4 and 5.
Well, I think
he usually does 4. That's the thing, though.
Yeah, I think if they did the 5, had MJF call off the pin, and then have MJF and Wardlow maybe kind of argue for a couple seconds, so that you can kind of believe that maybe Punk's recuperating a little bit, so he has a little bit more strength to kind of last gas roll him up, makes a little bit more sense. But when it's like 8, the 8th one was through a table. And can we talk about the 5-minute 9 count by Aubrey Edwards? That was fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
AEW refs are a fucking joke. But anyway, yeah, you're both right about the points you're trying to make.
I thought where I thought the finish was going, which I would have much rather appreciated, is when MJF was yelling at him to do more power bombs. MJF would just get in the ring and start beating the hell out of Punk while he was already getting hit by the power bomb. I would have much rather that.
I wouldn't.
Punk still wins. Punk still wins. MJF is pissed because MJF just wants. Like, I get the storyline between Wardlow and MJF. That's why it had that end like that. But I don't know. The
only reason I wouldn't like that is because MJF, through his character, especially last year, he doesn't like getting his hands dirty. He has the trials with guys. Like, I don't think it would make much sense to be like, oh, I'll do it myself. Like, he's never the kind of guy to do it himself. He has lackeys to do that for him. He has Shawn Spears. That's literally
why he has Wardlow.
Exactly.
I'm interested to see Dynamite when Shawn Spears and CM Punk fight.
Wait, Shawn Spears had a match. He had a really good promo for about Punk and all that stuff. I recommend watching it. Rampage was just good. I'm sorry.
Shawn Spears has the worst gimmick in all of wrestling.
I disagree.
Nikki Ash, Orange Cassidy, New Day. Just named 3 that are 10 times worse.
No.
Happy Corbin.
No.
Happy Corbin.
Nope, it's worse.
You need to stop.
No, it's worse.
Anyways, whatever.
The guy messed up a chair spot, so now he just calls himself the chairman.
It's funny.
He brings a chair everywhere. All right, Bo. There's actually one banner I added before we get to the Royal Rumble stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
Good on
I want
him.
to spell his first name because I knew I was going to spell it wrong. So,
Mhm.
Mustafa Ali on Twitter today actually, like, put a video that he asked for his release from WWE. I do have some backstory on this.
Okay.
I am a subscriber to Fightful Select, so
Good man. Good man.
no, that's the SmackDown producers. Where is it?
Should we just give an
It
initial
says
reaction? Okay.
it says argument with Vince McMahon may lead to Mustafa Ali's WWE absence. Fightful learned that Mustafa Ali asked only for one show off for paternity leave, even though that he hasn't appeared on WWE programming since back in November. We're told that before that he wasn't at Survivor Series or the SmackDown prior, which initially just looked like the company was extending his paternity leave. However, there was much more to that. And those that we've spoken to he hasn't been on SmackDown since then. One source said indicated they were surprised Ali wasn't at SmackDown Chicago. They said he revealed a new America gimmick that looked promising, and then Vince McMahon pulled it, and then they had an argument, and Mustafa Ali has not been on at TV since.
I mean, honestly, like, good for him for kind of sticking to his guns and like, okay, you've been kind of burying me on the card for years, and now like I have a good idea. You don't want to listen to it. I don't need to be here anymore. Like, look, like we all know, and Cody, I know you're a huge Ali fan, so you'll definitely agree that he's way too talented to be wasted in this company. I think
Exactly.
he would fit. Just the type of wrestler he is and how good he is at what he does, he would fit in really well, I think, in AEW. Because he fights those exact same type of flying matches.
I will say this.
Better than a lot of people.
I'm actually going to defend WWE on here for a second. Obviously, the release thing is big. But I remember Ali, I think it's the last thing he said on SmackDown. He lost a match, and then he said, "You guys don't like me because my name was Mustafa Ali."
That was character work, though.
So, but I think we shat on that because, we're having another Muhammad Hassan thing. And that looks like that was his idea. So I don't know, like, Vince probably just didn't want to get into, especially with all the stuff they have with Saudi and stuff. He probably didn't want to get into that web and stuff. So I don't blame him for pulling it, but at the same time, Ali is definitely he's probably a I would say top 15 most talented person on their roster.
Yeah,
Very
that's pretty
scary
arguable.
talented. Scary talented.
I'll say this on the because I didn't know about a lot of the things. I'm not subscribed to the Fightful newsletter like Cody is. Thankfully we have him here. I know. Thankfully we have him here. With the Ali stuff and the Muhammad Hassan thing, I think the Muhammad Hassan thing could have gone well if they were booking it well. I think that's how it is. The way they presented it, it would have made sense.
Back then, maybe, but now.
No, I think it could have been a baby face, because it'd be like, hey, my name is, and it's very important of representation of different people of color. Of course they have been doing lots of for the black community, but have they been doing anything for the Middle Eastern community?
But like the way I mean, WWE has with the Saudi shows.
But with the Saudi stuff, I'm talking about wrestlers.
But I will say this. They presented it like he was going to be a heel. They presented it like, you people don't like me because you're all racist.
But we don't. But the thing is, things might start off as a heel, but it might develop into a face. We don't know that. We only saw the beginning.
I don't know how you go from all these fans are racist to they love me. A tough thing though. But he is like super talented. AEW would definitely have him. He is a perfect fit for AEW.
I'd rather have. I think I see him like an Impact, because Impact is popping right
maybe
now.
Maybe Impact too. But yeah, it's just
AEW has too many cooks.
Because I think because he can, like, his promo work isn't like fantastic, but he's still like, I think if you put him in AEW, he's one of the best promos. So like I think he would totally be an upgrade on the AEW roster. The problem now is AEW's got so many people how like they're already like Jay Lethal's got to be their most wasted signing. That's fucking ridiculous how little.
Yeah, he's having a few
fucking good. Like he finally has something to do. But my God, they've wasted him.
It's a tag team, isn't it though?
What?
Is he with Dante Martin? Isn't that what that
Everybody wants to be with Dante.
But Jay Lethal can actually teach Dante. Like Dante Martin needs somebody to really
I'm
teach him, and
frozen.
Jay Lethal's like great. Jay Lethal could teach him. Which speaking of teaching, if I was Tony Khan, I would already be like in William Regal and Gabe Sapolsky's like fucking email, their voicemail. I'd hit them up on fucking MySpace to get them in AEW because those two would set AEW off. Because that's what they need. They need a talent trainer and a booker. And those are like
they have a lot of talent trainers. I mean, Jerry Lynn, they
but
have
good one, but better ones. Like no, but who does it?
Great.
Who does it better than what Regal and Gabe Sapolsky?
They have Malenko. Don't knock on Malenko now.
I wouldn't knock him as a wrestler.
There's not many people better than William Regal.
Plus, also
Malenko in terms of technical wrestling, Malenko can.
I'm not talking about wrestling. We're talking about booking.
That's right. But at the same time, but then also
the second was going to keep booking. They're not going to just.
But also think about how.
You're muted.
Support of him and how much they love him by hiring him. That opens so many doors to so many current WWE talent whose contract's going to be up and will get released. Like they're gonna have such that like it opens so many doors to you can let the Joey Janela's of the world fucking leave, and you can fill your roster with actual like top to bottom sick talent.
I doubt it. Like, oh, we don't want William Regal. I think it's not as easy as saying, hey, maybe William wants a little break. He was doing other stuff. We don't know the situation.
Yeah, but everyone's got a price, and Tony Khan's got an unlimited checkbook.
We don't know what's going on. I'm sure we'll get more info about it. I'm sure if he wants to continue, he'll find work, and if he wants to continue in AEW, maybe he wants to do something somewhere else. We don't know that. We don't know.
All right,
it's kind of hard to like.
So we're going to get to the Rumble matches now.
I don't even know. I have to write down now.
Yeah, so basically this was Cody's idea, and Dom is preparing on the fly again.
Really?
Our top 5 matches, not our top 5 favorite Royal Rumble matches from the pay-per-view, not the actual Rumble match itself, but matches from the pay-per-view. But it can be the Rumble match, but it's not like limited to the Rumble match. Like none of mine are the actual Rumble match.
I have one that's a Rumble match. And it's not the best. I'll say it right now, but it's very significant to me.
Mm-hmm. That's like my number 4 is not like the best match, but I think it's a really important match in WWE history.
All right, I'll go. I'll do my 5th first, and Eric, and then Dom, because Dom's writing his down. So hopefully,
I'm good. Okay,
so my 5th is actually an actual Royal Rumble match. It is the 2006 Royal Rumble match.
Who won that one? Which one was that?
Rey Mysterio one.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I love this. Probably other Rumble matches are better, of course, but this one meant so much to me just because I remember I was a huge Eddie Guerrero fan. When he passed away, I was gutted, and then when Rey lasted the whole time, and then you're like, oh, Triple H is gonna win this. And then Randy Orton's gonna win this. And Rey wins. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe that. The little guy never wins. So it's like awesome to see. So that's my number 5.
My number 5 is the most recent match on my list. It's John Cena versus AJ Styles. Because that was actually, first of all, that was John Cena's 16th World Championship win, so there's the history there. But then also, I think this was how you write a year-plus long story. Because, they had their matches at the beginning, and then, once Styles beat John Cena at SummerSlam 2017, I think it was, SummerSlam 2016, or whichever one it was. They didn't necessarily have another program until then, but you had AJ Styles adopt I'm the face that runs this place, I'm the champ that runs this camp. So they're still very, like, you can tell that John Cena is still very much a part of AJ Styles' character. But then beyond that, you also just have AJ Styles is a great worker, and dare I say, a phenomenal worker. But and Cena, Cena's not the best worker, but he is very, very good at getting the best out of anybody he works with, and getting the most out of AJ Styles is like It's easy because it's AJ Styles, but it was a really good match.
John
Cena's
Cena-
also so underrated.
John
So
Cena's underrated, 100%. I
He
mean,
is.
this man had classics after classics. You can say, oh, he might have not had good matches against bad wrestlers. I'm like, but he had amazing, phenomenal matches. I would say.
He's
against,
like
all time.
he just knows how to wrestle, and he knows how to lay out a match.
Yeah, he very good. Yeah.
All right, Dom, number 5 for you.
All right, this one I watched while getting the haircut, and I was like, yeah, this is the right choice. This might be a little off the hinge, but I really enjoyed what was happening here. Rey Mysterio against Edge, 2008. I watched it just now. I think this is a great match. I love the storytelling with the La Familia. They threw out the Kurt Hawkins sack right away, so no shenanigans here. You just have I mean, Edge and Rey Mysterio all time greats. They played off each other great, and you had so much believability that Rey is actually gonna win. Hit multiple 619, multiple dives, and then the Vicky Guerrero distraction and that storytelling of Vicky Guerrero was once a good family friend, of Rey. He did all that stuff for Eddie Guerrero, and they're very close. And then she chose Edge over them, and then that I still can see it, one of the best finishes. There were a lot of great finishes that night. It was a great card in general, great show in general. When he did the dive, and then Edge catches him with a spear in midair, and then just so great. That was my number 5.
I have I'll just say I just wrote a banner. There's a match that I almost positive Dom's gonna pick. So if he picks it, I'm gonna show it and just.
Okay, interesting.
Dom, you go number 4, and then we'll loop back around.
Next I have Foley versus The Rock. I think that was the
Mankind.
It was,
Yeah.
I think it was Cactus Jack.
No, it's Mankind.
Who I think?
That's,
No, I'm thinking
that's when he won the title, right?
That was the 1999 one. That was the year before. Like if in terms of believability, of a match, I mean Mick Foley does it no better than anybody else, and that was prime. That was still prime heel Rock, and God, the chair shots were brutal.
Oh my God, yeah, they were.
You're talking about like blood on the chair, just hitting it back, handcuffed. It's so much stuff. Well, it made Mick Foley look like the biggest baby face ever. Rock like the biggest heel. It was not like a technical masterpiece, but what it achieved super duper well, and it was just a match that everybody's gonna remember for all of time, probably.
I'm actually really glad that you used that sort, maybe not necessarily that exact match, but that sort of match where it wasn't the best worked match, but it accomplished something, because that's exactly what my number 4 is. And I'm not gonna lie, I doubt either of you have seen this match, but you guys know me. I've seen like every match. So mine's from
like the 1935 Royal Rumble.
No.
What is it?
It's from 1994, but it's Owen and Brett versus the Quebecers. So
Never seen it.
yeah, and I'll tell you about it because I'm sure you don't really know anything about it. It wasn't the best worked match because Bret Hart never tagged Owen in. He was getting his ass kicked the whole time, and he tried to win it himself and ended up losing via referee stoppage because the Quebecers were working on his leg the whole time. But he goes for the sharpshooter, collapses, ref stops the match. And so, it doesn't sound like the most exciting match. And I'm not going to lie, it wasn't. But I like it because of what it set up. Because there was already dissension among Owen and Brett. Because this is 1994. This is, going into WrestleMania 10.
I know what you're talking. Yeah, WrestleMania 10. Yeah.
So I think it's not the best match as far as a match, but based on how it progressed the story, it's just, I think it's one of the most historically significant matches in Royal Rumble history.
I think that's a good pick. I like that. Yeah. Good pick.
All right. So me. All right, my number 4 is actually there's a person you've already mentioned, and number 4 spot that I have, but it's a different iteration of the person. It's Cactus Jack versus Triple H.
Yeah.
This match was fucking insane. This match, a street fight. It's probably my favorite street fight of all time. Just the crazy shit that they did, the crazy stuff that Cactus Jack, what he would do for a wrestling match is insane. I debated between a couple matches between putting this 4 or 3, but this definitely deserved the spot on my list. I can watch this match 100 times and I'll never get tired of it because like the shit they do is insane.
Yep.
And now my number 3 is a match that Eric's already mentioned, Cena versus AJ. I mean, what can I say that Eric already didn't say? It's probably I would say Cena's second best Royal Rumble match of all time. Hint, hint at a Royal Rumble match. Maybe I'm gonna mention after. But I didn't at first. I didn't like that Cena won this match because I kind of wanted AJ to beat him again because I love AJ Styles. But this match was just so like, and what we said, Cena is so underrated in the ring. Like AJ obviously can have a good match without anybody, but Cena, the way his emotion. I remember when he put the calf crusher in on Cena. I'm like, I don't think Cena's gonna tap, but it kind of looks like he's gonna tap. And just all the spots, the 450 that AJ does is so beautiful. Yeah, that's my number 3.
All right, my number 3, I'm sure, is on both of your lists. It's from the Royal Rumble 2015, Cena versus Lesnar versus Rollins. I tend to not be a huge fan of triple threats, but my God, when you do them right, they're just amazing. And I told when Cody had this idea this morning, immediately I was like, I already know what my top 3 is because there are 3 Royal Rumble matches that I've gone out of my way to watch like over a dozen times, and this is one of them. I really love this match. So when I was something you guys don't know about how like my frequency of watching wrestling is around like 2013, 2014, I stopped not watching completely, but I stopped watching super intently. And this was the match that was like, fuck, I need to get back into this shit because it was awesome. It's one of the best triple threats I've ever seen, regardless of promotion.
Yeah. I'll have more to say about this probably later. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'll do a spoiler. I don't have that one on my list.
Really? Okay.
This is the reason. And you mentioned it perfectly. I just wasn't watching wrestling back then. Like that, I kind of fell out on that. I watched it back, and of course it's good. But we've been talking about favorite matches and matches I want to shout out. It's not one of them. Not taking it away. It's a great triple threat match. I prefer, of course, single wrestling. I think you can tell a story much better with single wrestling than triple threat match. Yeah, but my number 3 is one we talked about as well. Mick Foley against Triple H. I might have not been watching wrestling back then, but I know the importance of it. You know that this was a star-making performance for Triple H. I think that's kind of. It's funny enough. Mick Foley is probably one of the biggest star makers of all time. Talk about like trajectory after having a big match. I mean, The Rock, Undertaker, Triple H, then Randy Orton, then Edge. I don't know if I can go on, but those are names that they come to mind when after they're having a big extreme match with Mick Foley, that their trajectory of their work and everything else went up. Pedigree was still an iconic moment when you see you talk about Royal Rumble stuff. Royal Rumble, to be honest, 2000 Royal Rumble, great. Taz debuted. You have the match where Big Show won, and then they gave it to The Rock. The tag team match, great stuff. Good rewatch for anybody.
All right, what's your number 2?
If you guys have this one, but when I remember watching this was such a big moment. CM Punk versus Rock in 2013. Is the banner there? No banner?
I was about to say, Cody, hit the banner.
There's no banner.
Really?
He's writing one now.
No.
Okay.
That's immediately the match I thought.
How is it a cold? Okay.
That's not the match. No, that's not the match I have for you.
Okay, we'll see afterwards.
I doubt you're gonna have it, but I thought of it right when we were thinking about these.
We'll see, but I mean, the match I wouldn't say it's like a classic in terms of ring performance, but there was just so story, emotion behind it. There's a reason they put it, even though I disagree with it. I like having the Rumble match last. They put this match last because there's so much weight on it. They have the great one, The Rock, against CM Punk, who was, I don't know if he passed John Cena in terms of WWE days as champion, like John Cena, like
I
prime
think he did. I
6,
think
7.
right. Then didn't he hold the record until Brock Lesnar broke it recently?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
remember.
434
But
was.
I think that modern times that was like the one that like Wayne and everybody can agree. I say it was a pretty good Wayne, even
Oh yeah,
though
definitely.
it and like with the disbelief of like the restart of the match with the you're like, oh yeah, CM Punk weaseled himself out of this one because he was full heel mode with Heyman and stuff, but no, then the rematch started and then he had the rock bottom. I think it was just a lot of great memories. It was sad seeing CM Punk lose the championship, but what a way to like in terms of emotion, in terms of like just energy of everything. What a way to go off or finish the reign. So I have that. Maybe that's a bit more sentimental value in terms of favoritism.
I mean,
Um,
it's your top 5 matches.
but if I remember like a moment where I'm like, wow, that was great. That was a lot. That was a great way to end the night. I think of that.
The only thing I'll say about the only I like this match obviously because I love The Rock and CM Punk,
Yeah.
but the only thing that killed the match for me was the restart. I hated it.
I think it went well because CM Punk was trying to. He's like, oh, I can't beat Rock. I have to weasel myself out of this one, and this time they're like, no, bueno, no.
Yeah.
All right, my number 2.
I'm almost positive that Eric doesn't get my number one here. We're gonna have the same number one.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I'm kind of pissed that you're going to get to say it before me. And if we do have the same one, you might kind of realize it when I say my number 2. Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho ladder match 2001.
We have the same number one.
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, shit. What can you say? Like, let's talk about Chris Benoit, the wrestler. The guy was fucking fantastic. And Chris Jericho in his prime, fucking fantastic. Jericho and Benoit, they had a ton of classic matches, and like every time these two got in the ring together, it was just
Chemistry
gold.
was there, man.
Yeah, chemistry was amazing, but this ladder match was just it was another level. I think, oddly enough, this is my number 2, but I've probably gone out of my way to watch this more times than my number 1. I can watch this. I can watch these 2 all day, and I can watch the 2 at my number 1 all day. Just can't say it enough.
Fair enough.
So the first time I've ever watched this match wasn't even like like watching a Royal Rumble. I had the ladder match DVD set, and that's one of the matches on the. And I was like, and I loved the video package before. It was great. Where like I don't know if he threw him against like the garage door or he like closed the garage door on him, but that was cool. But yeah, this is an awesome match. It almost went. So I debated between putting this in my top 5, but then I was like, so I decided to leave it out for that. Dom, you know anything? Have you seen the match?
I like the match. It just like when I think of it, maybe it slipped by for me. Maybe I'm like, oh, I think of other matches. I don't like praising Chris Benoit too much. I know he's a great thing, but like I feel wrong kind of like celebrating him in any way. I don't know. It's just me.
I feel
Because like it's so sad like to say, but like I mean it's true. His last that last weekend overshadowed anything he did, and it's kind of hard to like overlook that sometimes.
Yeah.
But great wrestler, but yeah, you know.
Well, Dom, you're gonna hate.
I know.
Cody and I know exactly what's coming.
So my number 2 is Lesnar versus Cena versus Rollins at Royal Rumble. It's a great. Despite you guys, I know you guys don't love like multi-mans. Like I love a triple threat, fatal 4-way. I love that crap because like even though like you know who's usually gonna win, but the most time, but sometimes you don't. Like it's with like the thing that happened in day 1. Like I had no idea who was winning that match.
Yeah.
So it's so exciting. It keeps you on your feet. So I'm not gonna say too much about it. But my number 1, Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle, Royal Rumble 2003,
baby.
I mean, what can you say? These are 2 of the best technical wrestlers of all time. We know Chris Benoit's history. He's a murderer. He's all that stuff. But like when he wrestled, he could wrestle. Like, and Kurt Angle is probably, I would say, my second favorite technical wrestler of all time besides Bryan Danielson.
Kurt Angle, though.
Kurt Angle put on banger after banger after
Bangers.
banger. Yeah, he was just a man. I'll let Eric talk about it because I'm assuming that's his number one too.
Yeah, that's my number. I immediately knew it. My number one, 2003, Benoit versus Angle. I just, I don't get a lot of opportunities to talk about my fandom of Chris Benoit because it just has such a negative connotation behind it. But aside from that, you guys know I love Kurt Angle, and it's just, again, like the chemistry that Jericho and Benoit had might have been just the tiniest bit stronger than Kurt Angle and Benoit, but with Angle and Benoit, it wasn't as much that you were looking for the in-ring storytelling. You were just looking for just a kick-ass, perfectly worked technical wrestling match, and that's what this was. It's just amazing to watch.
I'm very intrigued to see what Dom's number one is.
All right, I thought of I had two number ones, and one of them I'm leaving off the list, kind of, because they're kind of similar things. But because one of them we talked about already, the AJ John Cena, I'm picking the other one. With the AJ John Cena thing, AJ Styles is one of my favorites. I love his New Japan. Or I go back sometimes to watch his New Japan work. I'm like, it's amazing, just phenomenal. And then you have John Cena. We talked about that great match. But I want to talk about a different match, and I'm surprised it didn't get a shout because it is a good match. Not technical wrestling, but like just of what it tells. And that's John Cena versus Umaga in Royal Rumble 2007.
Wow.
I got your match, Ron. Do you want to see what match I has for you?
Yeah, go for it. That was I was thinking about that one.
I didn't think you would end up putting it because you already had a match from 2008. So
that was going to be an honorable mention because that one was really good too. That was great night, honestly. But the reason I like the John Cena Umaga stuff because Umaga at the time was built as a monster, like a little remix of it when John Cena went against Great Khali, but this one was better because let's be honest, Umaga was a great big man worker. Like sad to say, like that the things that happened to him, but when he was on, he was on, and him and John Cena were on, and it just tells like a typical story, but it's just an enjoyable story. John Cena's the champion. He's the baby face. He has to come over this monster. The monster's been having for a while now, and he is like, how is he gonna?
Undefeated? Wasn't Umaga undefeated going into that match?
I think they had a match and
no, they had a match before and John Cena won.
Yeah, but this one felt different because like John put it up another step. He can't just do what he usually does with the double A's. He's not. He might be able to pin Umaga, but he's not gonna stand down. And like when he had to remove the ropes and like put it around his neck, Umaga's neck, and actually like choke him out to make him stay down. Like I love like that typical baby face has to turn it up to another level that typically he doesn't want to, but because he has to take out this guy, he's bad, like cool with cool. And I think that the imagery of like John Cena like stoically like holding the rope and Umaga is just a great like image, and I feel like it's often overlooked when you talk about great Royal Rumble matches, so I wanted to really give it a big shout. I think it's a good match.
Surprising.
It's surprising, but like it tells such a small, well-told story. A baby mega face having to overcome this, and he can't overcome it, so he has to go out of his comfort zone to do something he wouldn't usually do. And I think that might be very simple, but I think it's really fun to watch, and they had a great match. And it was a great pay-per-view. I mean, John Umaga, I'm not Umaga. HBK versus Undertaker at the end. Like, other than that, man, they had Bobby Lashley against Test, Batista against Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, I'm talking about
just Test.
Yes, Bobby Lashley was his Test. Then you had
Test was dead by then.
No, he died a little bit afterwards.
Oh,
And then yeah,
but
good
I will
card.
say about Umaga that he had one of the most underrated finishers ever.
Yeah, he was a scary. He was very believable as a monster. He was scary.
That's Roman Reigns' brother, right?
No,
No, Rosie was his brother.
Rosie was.
Okay.
They tagged together as 3-minute warning. Really, there was a partner with Eric Bischoff. Really strange times.
All right. Well, that's our top 5 Royal Rumble matches. I'm very excited for this year's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It's.
Oh wait! Before we leave, because I really want to hear the Forbidden Door stuff. We have to talk about it. Realistic Forbidden Door entry and Dream Forbidden Door. Because I never gotten this much excitement about the Forbidden Door.
So I'll say first. My first thing is I don't think it's as forbidden as people think. Even though Mickie James is knockout champion, I guess she's not really under contract with Impact.
They acknowledged her as Impact champion. That's the
well,
thing.
That is a big deal. So like I don't think like Chris Jericho is going to show up or something.
I don't
like
know.
that. I highly doubt it.
I don't think that door is quite open.
All right, so can I give my realistic Rumble?
Go.
So I'll do men's because we already have a women's one. I'll say Matt Cardona, aka Zack Ryder.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I like that.
And my one that I would really want, I would say if Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were in the Rumble match, I would say Jon Moxley because I would love it, but
because we haven't been beat to death with Shield reunions over the past 5 years.
Cody loves them. He loves them like it's serious. Like, I have to wake up. I have to wake up and have a Shield reunion.
Does it not bug you that Jon Moxley is a terrible wrestler?
I could care less. They're in 6-man tag matches.
You hate on him way too much.
This is the hard part. Like thinking of like.
I think Moose. I think if the door's open, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Moose show up because he's tweeted a couple times and mentioned in interviews wanting to work with Roman Reigns. I'm not saying he'd win the Rumble and go against Roman, but like he's like name dropped. He's name dropped Roman, so
I could see also Braun Strowman and Sheer.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, by the way, Bray Wyatt is appearing for an event that Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan is gonna appear on.
Oh.
I'll send you the links.
Oh no, let's do like unrealistic. Like who?
Okay. Let me go.
It's like our dream person to show up.
I wanna realistically. Funny enough, I can see somebody from New Japan, and this is and specifically Jay White, and this is the reason because there have been talks and reports about them already wanting to work a partnership.
Jay White also works for Impact though, doesn't he?
Exactly, he appears on Impact a lot, and no, he can't go. He to back to Japan because of the protocols. He would have been there probably at Wrestle Kingdom.
I have a good one.
So Jay White, I would love, but Dream MJF.
That's what I was gonna say.
MJF. I mean, can you talk about like in terms of tying stories together? And if they really want WWE really want goodwill and have MJF eventually come there, they might. I mean, it makes sense. That's a big dream. That's a big dream.
I have another one that's not in the Rumble match itself, but it is might probably be a Rumble match. And I would have the Young Bucks cost the Usos the tag team titles.
That's a bit more ambition than the MJF stuff.
I know. MJF is definitely not showing up, but MJF was mine, so I was just trying to think of something else.
My dream person to show up that we know there's no chance in hell is possibly showing up is Veer Mahan.
That's my prediction right there. Okay.
But realistically, it nothing screams big show if Carl Anderson's not there. So if he's not somewhere in the card, maybe the Young Bucks show up to try to cost the Usos the match, but the Good Brothers stop them.
Okay.
No, okay. If I'm being for real, then honestly, low key. I fucking love low key or Jacob Fatu. I love both those guys, but they're not coming.
Okay, I doubt the MLW stuff is now coming because of the dispute.
Yeah, that's the other layer.
I think realistically, it's gonna be Impact guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And if we're talking Impact, then like
Impact or New Japan or New
Chris Bay
Japan.
would be kind of cool.
New Japan Strong, I could see as well.
I can also see Nick Aldis.
Oh,
yes. Nick
Married to,
Aldis,
married to Mickey James.
Trevor Murdoch, maybe. I mean,
Trevor
that's an ex WWE guy. He has a lot of arcs.
I think the only thing is you're not going to see you're not going to probably see 2 champions show up.
Who knows?
Because like, why would you want both your champions? Because there's no way Mickey James is winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
If Mickey James wins the Royal Rumble, I will give away my PS5. Not to you.
Yeah, but I'm honestly excited because like maybe the Forbidden Door stuff might not happen, but it's just a rumor of like I confirmed Open Door. Like you can say, oh, Mickey James, is that like she's like in and out of WWE. She gets sent home with a garbage bag, a trash bag full of
but
stuff.
the person that did that is no longer with WWE.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, and Impact and acknowledged Impact on their not on commentary, but on the thing, and then the reports and from very credible sources that they are best and have been trying their best for Forbidden Door stuff. You know, like I think.
All right, let me give one more.
And the thing is, WWE has done stuff like this in the past. Talk about 1997 with the AAA. They had 4 wrestlers. Unfortunately, I only know Latin Lover was one of them. I don't remember the other ones. Right. But they have done stuff like this in the past. So I'm
gonna give one more question before we head out.
Okay.
So you know how Royal Rumble is all full of moments. There's moments that happen in the match.
Yeah.
Give me one moment that you want to see happen in this year's match. I already know mine. If you want me to say mine first. All right, ready? I'm almost positive Brock Lesnar is going to be in the match. Brock Lesnar is eliminating everybody. There's no one in the ring, and then Walter's music hits. Walter versus Brock showed up.
Awesome.
So basically, you want another Keith Lee moment.
Basically, but Walter, I think is a bigger than Keith Lee. Walter held the UK championship for like 800 days.
Keith Lee was the first North American NXT champion.
I don't care.
But then I don't care about the UK stuff because he had no one to wrestle. So shut up.
He also relinquished the North American Championship like the next day.
Yeah.
Anyways,
and Walter's I feel like Walter's much bigger than Keith Lee, like height wise. All right, give me one.
I have one.
All right, Dom, go.
We have seen this moment, not in a Royal Rumble match, but would like to see it. It's because I'm a big Bullet Club fan. Finn Balor's probably going to be in a Royal Rumble. And funny enough, he only been in one Royal Rumble before that.
You watched the Parts Fun Numb video today, didn't you?
I did.
I watched it like an hour ago.
I'm guilty of that, but I would love a Bullet Club team up with AJ and Finn. History, Finn.
like in Eric's in Eric's brand when they teamed up.
I would love to have that wrestler and do the same thing, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, a Bullet Club reunion between Finn and AJ.
So what's Xavier Woods' injury right now?
He's out. They announced he's out of the Rumble.
What's the actual? But what's the nature of the injury?
With his leg, I think.
What do you want him to be dead?
I think.
You're frozen. I can't hear what you're saying.
Character worker, and we don't need stupid comedy wrestlers anymore. So we'll take your crown. You're fired.
I didn't hear anything you said other than we don't need comedy wrestlers anymore. You're fired.
That's pretty much the gist of it.
So nothing. All right, so we're praying for a Walter Brock showdown. All right.
If you want a real moment for me, then like the only big moment, I'd love to see the Brock Walter thing, but like I just want to see Liv. I want to see Liv Morgan win the Rumble. Give her a fucking. She's not going to, but I want to see her get a fucking moment.
I think they're going back to back with Bianca.
Me too.
Bianca's going to win two in a row.
Me too.
Yeah, unless they do a Bailey win with
What
Charlotte.
if
Then.
Lita wins?
A Bailey win with Charlotte. And then
All right, well, that's our show. We will be back. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't get COVID again. So, we'll be back probably not tomorrow because it's gonna snow all day tomorrow. I'm gonna have to shovel. But Tuesday, we'll probably be back.
Yeah. Talk about some Raw.
Talking about some Raw, which I watch Raw now for most of the time. I think it's pretty good show. There's at least one good. There's at least one good match on every Raw. So
it has improved. It's better than SmackDown now. So.
All right. Well, that's Russell Point. We will be back next time.
Adios.
Word low.
Word